In the next few videos, I will look at equipping you to be able to build real-life applications. For this to happen, we need to look at saving data of our applications somewhere online and centralized. We need apps where several users at once change and see data from the same database, but on different mobile devices. We need a mobile backend as a service. So what is a mobile backend as a service? It's a model for providing web app and mobile app developers with a way to link their applications to backend cloud storage and APIs exposed by backend applications, while also providing features such as user management, push notifications, and integration with social networking services. Providing a consistent way to manage backend data means that developers do not need to redevelop their own backend for each of the services that their apps need to access, potentially saving both time and money. It specifically addresses the cloud computing needs of web and mobile app developers by providing a unified means of connecting their apps to cloud services. And if you look at Backendless.com platform backend as a service, you can see they describe their backend as a service as a highly scalable backend for your mobile and web apps. Backendless mobile backend as a service is a complete backend with support for user authentication, data persistence, file storage, messaging, and custom business logic. Everything you need to build awesome apps without worrying about servers. So if we can say this in normal English, if you look at this picture, we've got a space where we've got database and database management, user authentication and management, push notifications, geolocation, file storage, and much more in one centralized place. Now, these guys from Backendless have created this for us automatically. They've already created it. They've built the APIs. They've built the software development kits for every platform. It includes Android, iOS, JavaScript, PHP, .NET, everything built in APIs, and then for all of those a software development kit. So what we've got here is a place online where we can store our data, but where we can have our PC, our laptop, our tablet, our phone all connect to the same database, this backend as a service. So now let's just go through the Backendless website and see what they offer. So the first thing that we're going to quickly have a look at is the pricing. So if you go to Backendless Cloud to go to their pricing structure, and you scroll down a bit, you can see that they've got 4 different plans that you can choose from. And this changes a lot. So I'm not sure by the time that you watch this video that it could change already. But they've got a free plan, they've got a developer plan, Cloud 9 and Cloud 99. And this one has got a free trial for you as well. So you can check out the free trial first before you go to the free plan, or you decide to buy one of the other options or the pricing options that you can get. So they recently changed this now, and it's now, when I'm doing this video, it's July 18 and 2018, and they've changed the API calls to calls per month instead of per minute. So they had it as 60 calls per minute, and now it changed to 1 million per month. So if you take the 60 API calls per minute and convert that to monthly, this 1 million is more than half of what you had. But in this case, I think for beginner developers, this would be fine, just to check out their free plan. If you go to the developer plan, 5 million, that's now 2 times more as it was with the 60 API calls per minute. So this one is quite nice. And then depending on your specific app and how many API calls you'll need, you can decide on which one of these pricing options you need to take. Okay, so they've also now, with Backendless 5, I think it came out now at the end of June, they've got real-time connections now, so you can have 100 real-time connections without paying anything. 5 real-time listeners per month. I think it's per month. No, sorry, this will be for the app, and for for the real time at any given stage. Then development team size is unlimited for all of the options. There's custom security roles, there's data tables. The data tables on the free plan is a bit limited, but if you pay your $15 per month, then you'll get your 20 tables. The objects in a table also could be restricted. 1,000 could be maybe not enough, but if you go to the next plan, you've got 20,000 objects that you can save in a table. You've got 400 geopoints, you've got geofences, you've got file storage of a gig if you want more. There's options, objects in cache, push messages, notifications, and so forth. So you can look at what you get free in this first plan. So the free plan is a quite nice plan to start off with and to get your app to a stage where you can go and then buy one of the other options. So in this course, or in this video course that I'm doing with Backendless, I will focus only on the free plan, and everything we'll do will be covered by the free plan. So now if you go down a bit, let's say you decide to take one of the 3 last options where you actually pay something. So if you pay, let's say $15 a month, and you find that your 20 data tables is not enough, then you can go and, let's say, buy yourself an additional 50 data tables, which will add $25 per month, and that will then go to $40 per month. But then you'll have this 20 plus the additional 50, which will give you 70 tables. So as soon as you start paying, you can see that limits can be increased, not in the free plan, but in any of the other plans. And increasing those limits, for example, you can include 200,000 data objects by just adding a $10 per month if your data objects in the table is not enough for you. Right, and that's basically it then for the pricing structure. So I think the free plan is more than enough. If you go then to the support part there, you can see that there's a support forum, there's a Slack channel, and there's some video tutorials. I would really recommend that you go and ask questions in the support forum or in the Slack channel. The Slack channel is like instant messaging, where you can directly talk to somebody from Backendless. Also the support forum, they are very fast. They never take longer than a day to answer your question, sometimes even in a few minutes. So the support is really good, support forum and the Slack channel. So please make use of that. Then you can see that there's the platforms. They've just released Backendless 5 in late June 2018, and the previous version Backendless 4. They've also got a service called Codeless that we will look at, where you can basically build your apps without using code, but then create some APIs that you can actually use your codeless programming inside of your app, which is quite nice. So there's some codeless introduction and videos, and how you can do stuff with codeless. It's quite a nice service where you basically drag and drop blocks of code, and that gets that will do some of Backendless features for you. So now if we go to the documentation and we go to the API documentation, you can see there's documentation for Android, Java, iOS, JavaScript, custom business logic. There's the REST API, there's for .NET, and so forth. So they support a lot of platforms that you can use. So if you're developing for mobile, then you've got basically everything you need. It's Android, Java, and iOS. And then if you go into API documentation, you can see this is now for version 5. That's the newest version, but it's also backwards compatible. If you go into Backendless and you look at this one, you can see that they ask you there at the top also, go to the Slack channel and tell us if we need to improve this documentation. In the documentation, you can see there's a quick start guide, there's a client-side setup, there's migration from 3 to 5. There's some error handling. You can look at the user service where we log in new users and so forth. It's like a textbook for you or tutorials to show you how to do the code and what's all the errors and stuff like that. For instance, in the user service API, if you want to see how to log in a new user, they've got the calls there. If you want to log out a user, they've got the calls there. There's the data service API, where we just save new objects to a database or to a table. You can see that you can update, you can save data, you can delete, basic object retrieval and so forth, and some more advanced stuff. Also, their new real-time database, real-time messaging, their push notifications. If you want to get into that, we'll do that still. There's Files API if you want to save files online. There's geolocation, logging, caching, and so forth. So this will really be your go-to documentation for Backendless. There's also a way to download this as PDF. I'm not sure where now, but you can also download this as PDF. Then if you go into the quick start guides, you can see that they give you some first steps for Android and for Java that you can do and follow these steps to get your application up and running. But we will do this first initial steps when we get to the next video. Right, and then you also get the SDKs. If you want to download the SDK and include that into your libraries folder in Android Studio, then you can do it from here, from any one of these repositories, and how to set up your environment. Also, there's some videos that you can run through. There's some API explanations and so forth. Right, so I think before we can carry on to the next video, we need to log in, or not to log in, to register a new account with Backendless and make sure that you've got an account that we can work with. So you're going to go to the register button there, or go to develop.backendless.com. So here you'll enter your first name, your last name, your email address, and your password. Make sure you're not a robot, and then you can register. Before you log in though, they will send you an email, so please do not log in unless you already confirmed your email address. So you'll receive an email address or an email notification that you have registered a new account, and they need to confirm that it's you. And then after clicking on confirm, you may come and log in to Backendless. Right, so basically when you get to the screen after logging in for the first time, it will ask you to give your application a name. So I'm just going to give my application the name Test App, and I'm going to say create. Okay, that can only contain... Let me just remove the space there and say create, and it creates your new application for you. And now when you create a new application, you can see that your billing plan starts off with Cloud 99, which is the trial. And I'm not sure how long this trial is active, maybe 10 days or so, but you can use the Cloud 99. Now this is the dashboard where we are right at the start, where you can change your app icon, you can see your billing plan, you can set your URL for Google Play and for the Apple Play Store here. You will get your application ID, your iOS key, your Android key, and so forth. You'll get here, but we'll get to this part when we set it up in Android Studio. Now also, because this is a dashboard, you can see all your statistics of how many API calls per month you had. You can see this one is, I think, I'm not sure, 4 million or what. And then we've got pub/sub messages, push messages, the disk space, how much you've used so far, and so forth. So this is a dashboard will give you some analytics for the last 6 months, the year, the current billing period, and so forth. Okay, so this is the home button to get back to your dashboard. You can see you can also reset your app, delete your app, or clone your app. Remember that you can, at any time, you can create as many apps for your account as you want, but billing is only for one specific app. Right, so we're going to go to Manage now. If you go to the Manage tab there, you'll see that we've got some app settings, which gives your API keys and stuff. Again, there's social, mobile, email. You can set up your email if you want to send email from Backendless. There's domain control if you use your own custom domain. There's Git, there's your teams, so you can set your team members there. Invite a new team member. Remember, you've got unlimited team members that you can add to work with you on this database. Then there's analytics. You can look at your statistics, API calls, the number of users, the messages. There's log management that you can have a look at. There's billing, so you can choose a new plan here for developer or Cloud9 or whatever. And then you can also export your data. You can import your data. And then there's a new feature now that came out with Backendless 5, the landing page, where you can set up your landing page for your app and your own custom domain, or you can use a domain at Backendless that will help you to create a web page where you can promote your own app on a website. Okay, so if you go to the Users tab, you see that you can do user registration there, so you can switch it on or off, whether new users can be registered to your app, whether they require email confirmation or not. and so forth. So we'll get back to these settings later on. There's also a login section where you can enable multiple logins to your application, when the sessions should time out, to lock a user account, and when to unlock it again. There's some email templates. We'll get back to the email templates also. For example, when they first install your application, you can send out an email and you can define how the email will look from here. Also, if you want them to confirm the email address like you've done before you logged in here, if the user requests a new password, you can also set up how your mail for that will look. But we'll come back to that. There's also some security roles, basic ones. You can create one new security role here for the free plan, but this is basically for specific users. If it's an Android user, what data does the person have access to? So if it's data to create, to update, to find, to remove, whatever. If it's an Android user, it's got access to all of these. Right, so if we then go to the data tab on the left-hand side, this is where all your tables for your database will lie. This section here is basically all your own created data tables. By using the plus there, I can create a new table. You can also do it in coding, and then your tables will lie in this section. Your system data section here, this section does not count towards your 5 free data tables, so these tables are not part of it. But all the tables that you create in here, those tables cannot be more than 5 in your free plan. So you'll see there's your users table, your loggers, device registration, Backendless counters, cache, and so forth. But these are held by Backendless itself. In the users table, you can actually include some more. For example, if I want to add if I go into schema there, I can create a new column in this specific table and save some data in it, but we'll get to that part later on. So in your data section is where you'll have all your data tables in your database. If you go to files, this is where all your files will be if you want to save some files online. In your messaging, this is where you can send out push notifications to different channels. So you can create new channels here, or in coding, and you can send out notifications to your devices from here. We can also go to geolocation. In this section, this will basically be where you save your latitude and longitude, your points on the map, and you can see then on this map also where those specific points are that you saved. We've got some business logic as well. We will later look at Codeless a bit, but we'll get back to this one. Let me just see if we go to Codeless now. Now we'll do the Codeless one later on, where we drag and drop some blocks and so forth. If we go to the marketplace, this is where you can add some extra things into your specific plan, but this is not allowed in the free plan. So if you've got Cloud 99 or whatever, you can add some of these to it. Then there's code generation also. If you want to get a standalone template for, let's say, a real-time chat application, or basic create, retrieve, update, delete demo, or data classes or Java classes defined for data tables, geo, browser, registration and login, or whatever. You can get the codes by a zip file and then open it up in Android Studio, and everything is set up for you and ready to go. I would not recommend this unless you know what you're doing, but for the start, please just follow this video instead of taking one of these. This is basically it for this video. We'll come back on the next video and show you how to set up this now in your Android Studio for your specific application.